Is there a need to talk about a particular subject? Is there a need to talk? Is there a need to sit in front of a device and is there a purpose? Is there a particular preferred way? Is there a method? Is there an aim, an objective? Is there a need to attain? Is there a need to get? Is there a need to share? A need to give? You see, when all needs disappear, something still takes place. That's the revelation. The fear of giving up, the fear of surrendering, the fear of losing my mind. It falls into hundreds of fears. Fear of not being competent, able. So I need to remain a prisoner to my mind, even though it suffers, even though it's painful, even though I know it will lead to difficulties and possible traumas. I need to put up with it, you see. I need to put up with the life that appears to be existing and I appear to be experiencing it. And that's all that it is. There's no needs. There's just an experience. The mind wants to give flavors to the experience, wants to give values to the experience, measurements to the experience, wants to make comparisons with, a man-made creation of time. Yesterday was a good experience. Last week was a bad experience. Tomorrow may be a great experience. On and on, looking for something that will never be found. The need to find God. Why? Why is there a need to celebrate or to worship an apparent past saint? We don't worship our great-grandfathers. We let them go, we let them pass. But we cling on to the past, we cling on to the history, because I need to know that I'm not separate from all the greatness in life. And the experience is to realize that you are the greatness in life. I mean, look at you. You're just a body to the mind. You're just flesh and blood. Your names, your components, fingers, ears, nose, soul, spirit, blood, bones, thoughts, imaginations. Your little components that destroy the real you. I mean, how miraculous is it for you to appear like this? How miraculous. We don't give that one thought, because the mind is always focusing on what it needs. It needs more. It needs nourishment. It needs to be fulfilled. It needs to find. It needs to seek. And when the speaker says there's no needs, everything remains. Everything simply just dissolves into its own comfort. because there are no needs. The mind can make up pretend needs. I need to keep my job. I need to maintain my car. I need to be a good husband. I need to be a good neighbor. I need to make sure that the house is locked up at night. I need. We can accept, really, the mind can accept needs. Very simple, subtle needs. Food, oxygen, the body. I need the body. I need the oxygen. I need the food. I need the warmth when it's cold. I need the cold when it's too hot. These are very simple, basic needs. But needs turns into wants. I want. Meaning, I'm superior. But that's not really what it means. When you want, it means you don't have. So you're always looking from the poorer side of things. Even in a materialistic world, the rich person, it has the greatest yacht. But some company has built a much more superior yacht, and that one says, I want it. So that one at the moment of wanting is poor. It has to suffice. It has to, pacify its mind to say, I cannot be rich until I have the ultimate. So the person that is starving, that says, I want food, is the same as the rich, human, materialistic, driven being that says, I want a bigger yacht. They're both poor. You see? We don't look at life like that. But, I'm not an expert in the wanting because I've really never wanted anything in my life. I have needed specific things in my life. It's quite easy to overcome the wants, you see. Be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for what you are. Be at peace with your existence, your experience. Accept the experience. It may be the most traumatic experience, but I'm not going to fight against it because whatever the reason, whether it's a blamable experience or a foolish, self-made experience, the experience has to pass. No point in hanging on. No point in trying to relive the experience. Because we apparently have made time. And the reason for making time is to let things go. It's not to want in the future and not realize what's taking place in the present. It's not a need to be seen as something more special than what you believe you are. You see, believe in hope. They keep you prisoners. I hope when I go to church this Sunday that some miraculous thing happens to not necessarily me, but my friend. And religion really makes its announcement that it's true. It's true about God. It's true about Jesus. So you have to go to an establishment. You're still seeking that permission to know Jesus and God. You think Jesus and God is in a church only, in a temple, in a mosque. You think Buddha is always sitting under the bonsai tree. You see, you are Buddha. You are Christ. You are God. And once you realize that, you don't need anything. You don't even need to be recognized as something that they are recognized as, some superior beings, special beings. And Christ itself said, we are all the same children of God. God being source, God being the creator, God being consciousness. You see, you think the man that, the person wants the biggest yacht, and in comparison to the poor that just wants food, are different consciousnesses? You think they breathe different oxygen? Do you think they're not both going to fade and die in this world of messy mind? What is that to need? See, yes, you can bring your ego mind in and say, well, I need to find peace in my life. I need to find a better job. I need. And you'll always try and search your mind for justification, for proof, for reasoning. But I'm not talking to you, the viewer. I'm talking to you in the device, the guy with the green t-shirt. You see? It's a confirmation, you see. I'm confirming with you that you know your position. I don't need. I does not need. Who is the I that needs, you see? Is there an I that needs? I mean, the whole concept of what is it to need makes a fool of itself. The body's not craving for needs. Body may be craving for feed. And feed is all around. Even the monks, they ate tree bark. I don't want tree bark. I want nouveau cuisine. I want a steak. I'm entitled to this. I've worked hard all my life. I've put so much into society. Why did you need to do that? Was there a need to do that? Or was there just following a guideline, following a process, following a biblical book, following the government's rules and regulations, following your parents' wishes? I need to follow my parents' wishes. I need to follow the government. The whole problem with humanity is we need to be dependent on others, you see. Because even the man with the most money that has the greatest yacht is dependent on someone else building a greater yacht for them. You see. The hero, the gladiator, the brave is what realizes, if I had to do this on my own, how would I get on without depending on others? Needs would turn into doing without thinking. I'll go out and grow some vegetables, or eat some tree bark, or rear an animal. I have to do it on my own. I'm not dependent on my mind. You see, your mind will say, no, we're civilized now. We live in a modern world. Everyone is doing everything for you because you're some sort of, special breed. And then the next moment your mind comes in and says, well, I'm not a special breed, I'm poor. I don't have the ultimate yacht. I don't even have a yacht. I don't even have food on my table. So we have conflict between our mind. Mind wants to always argue against itself. Always argue against the speaker. Always argue against the listener, always argue against the employer, always argue against the government, the politicians, always argue against God when he's not doing the right thing, always arguing against Satan when things are not going well in the world, always arguing against the dog when it doesn't bark at the right time, always arguing against, the child when it's not behaving at school, always arguing with the teacher when it's not teaching, it's not treating the child with respect, always arguing with the policeman because he stopped you for no reason, always arguing with the tramp because you think he should be out getting a job, always arguing with your mind, you see, not really arguing with the bodies. The bodies are innocent victims of all of this complexity of ego state driven mind that needs. And then the mind comes in and says, well, actually, I get what you're saying, so I don't need. Leave needs alone, you see. Leave yes and no alone. Leave this and that alone. Leave man and woman alone. Why do you use these words? Why do we use these words to create conflict with our own mind? Why do we take on board all the dogma, all the religious dogma, all the scientific dogma, all the politicians' dogma, all the dogma of all those that speak highly of life and all those that speak lowly of life? Why not discover your own self and see if you need anything? The dog lies beside a device. It moves the device unintentionally. It doesn't look and say, I need. It just waits patiently. If you open the door, it'll go out and walk. It'll walk home. It doesn't say, I need a lead. It doesn't say, I need to be accompanied. It doesn't say, I need you to open the door. Unless it's desperate for the toilet. It just unconditionally is here. When you find your unconditional self, you won't rely on a mind that puts you in specific directions, specific paths, the religious path. And within the religious path, a type of faith path and the scientific path. Am I a hologram path? Is it the string theory path? Is it the quantum path? Or the atheist? I just want to be I just want to be, against all dogma and religion and science. I want to be against all those, ideas and concepts I have created in my mind about pharmacies and vaccines and competitiveness and preferences and ways and methods and practices and spirituality and stuff. I'm just going to remain unconditionally here. The body will appear to do things. There will be no mind that makes judgment on it, unless it harms another human being or harms a dog or harms something that is not necessary. You don't need to love the dog. It's automatic. You don't need to love your partner. It's automatic. Something inside is emotionally connected. The ego wants to say, I want a better emotional connection. I want a bigger yacht. I want a steak on my table. I want. And wants turn into needs. Now I have wanted it, now I have received it, now I'm used to it, now I'm habitually getting it. But it doesn't come one day and you say, I need to revert back to the life I had before when I had everything. We're just human needies. We need and 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 need. And then death comes. And there's a need to say thank you. Thank you for all the things that I didn't need. And I regret all the needs. If you get that chance on that final day of your life, you'll realize what a fool I was. I spent my whole life needing things that I didn't need. I had everything. I had my breath, I had my life, I had my emotional sensory body, I had my attachment to God, which is life, and I was consciously aware of where I was and who I was and what I was doing. But I was also consciously aware that life is just a fleeting moment. And to fit in all these needs into one fleeting moment is absolute barmy. It's absolute unnecessary. But we do it. Now I need to go.